As miniature painters, we're always looking for ways to paint better and faster, constantly trying to find the line between quality and time invested. Well, apparently there's a technique out there that capitalizes on both. Today, we're testing the method. Welcome back to Warforged Miniatures. Today we're testing out the method. Now the method is something that you've probably seen before. I've seen a bunch of different miniature painters use this technique, but I believe it's credited to El Miniaturista. Basically, this technique is a way to paint a miniature, especially a Space Marine, in a quick, efficient way using your airbrush to maximize on time while also keeping the miniature looking really nice. Been watching a ton of videos on different people using basically this same procedure to paint awesome miniatures in a quick time period. So eventually I want to use this technique to do some kind of batch painting and paint a bunch of Space Marines all at once, but I gotta test this first, so let's figure out how to do this. I'm gonna test this method out today using a Space Wolf. I really want to get more practice painting Space Wolf armor before Golden Demon and before I attempt painting my Ragnar Blackmane miniature. So first you got to get your miniature built and primed. I'm using a color recipe that I saw Trovarian do in one of his more recent videos. So you want to start off by painting all of the armor with this deep gray from Army Painter. And then I used French blue and blue gray from AK Interactive. The basic idea is to apply all of these layers using your airbrush, first totally base coating the armor in the deep gray, and then using the airbrush to specifically highlight up. So only hitting the area of the miniatures where the light would hit. I used the French blue, and then again, an even smaller area, I did it with the blue gray. Probably didn't need the French blue. It wasn't a huge jump between, but I wanted to try it out anyway. After I got the basic armor colors sprayed on, I wanted to pop off the shoulder pads and paint those as well. This I kind of messed up at first because I thought both shoulder pads were supposed to be yellow and they were not. One is supposed to be red and black, and the other is supposed to be yellow. So kind of messed that up at first, but came all together in the end. The yellow was definitely difficult. My idea was I wanted to paint it orange and then do a yellow through the airbrush over the top. I don't know what the heck with my yellow. It just was kept running. I don't know if it was my airbrush or my yellow. So it took me a while, but I eventually got somewhat of the look I was going for with the yellow shoulder pad. And then with the red and black, I just free-handed those triangles on there. That took me a little while, but it was pretty easy. Just following basically what the Grey Hunter's shoulder pad says to do in the book. Now at this point, I should have also base coated any metallics, but I didn't do that, and I will eventually in the future have to do that and go back and repeat the next step, which is gloss varnishing over everything. Once I put the shoulder pads back on, I had to give 2 coats of gloss varnish over the whole thing. And it's important to get a good coat on there because this is important for the next step, which is kind of the bread and butter of why people do this. So once the miniature is fully glossy, the next step is to do an oil wash. So you want to mix up some oil paint with a white spirit. And the idea here is to get it to a nice consistency so that it will run into all the crevices and the cracks and kind of fill in and darken all the recesses of the whole miniature, which really makes all of the work you did with the airbrush stand out, because airbrush obviously kind of fills all the gaps and doesn't really look nice. But once you separate all the panels with that oil wash, it really ends up looking awesome. So once you get that oil wash in all the crevices and kind of coat most of the miniature, it's time to take a makeup brush or something and you could use like a Q-tip or even a regular brush. Dip it in a little bit of the mineral spirits and then just wipe away the excess that got up on the actual armor panels that you don't want. This is my first time using like this oil painter pen thing that I got and doing this technique at all. So definitely could have done better, but I think it came out pretty cool. And it just looks so awesome when all of the panels kind of have that separation in between them. So here was when I realized that I didn't do the metallic parts and I should have done that first. So I went through and kind of did that separately. I just painted the metallics, glossed over them, hit them with a little wash, wiped them off. So did that. So this is where you can really see the benefits of this technique. Doing all of this was a quick process. And if you're batch painting, you can easily do all of these steps in succession on a bunch of miniatures all in a row and kind of get to a decent level pretty fast. At this point, the miniature is kind of looking pretty cool, but now I just want to go and hit all the details. And from here on, you can just kind of detail up to whatever level that you think is passable for you or whatever you want to do with it. Adding a couple more details could allow you to just kind of put this on the tabletop, finishing the face or whatever, and then you'll have a good tabletop miniature that, especially from a distance, looks pretty awesome. Or you can really push it up to the next level, and I've seen people like El Miniaturista use this technique and then come up with some of like the craziest, most beautiful looking pieces in the end. So from here on out, I spent more time just kind of hitting all the details, painting the leather, painting the handles on the knife and on the sword. I added runes to the gun besides doing the Blackmane logo on the shoulder pad. That was the first time I've used the transfer sheets at all, so that went pretty well. And I just spent some additional time finishing up the rest of the miniature, doing the face and the hair and everything. And overall, I think this came out really, really well. And like I was saying, if you painted a whole army like this, you'd have like a really nice looking army. So this is what it came out to in the end. Let me know what you guys think. And that was the method, you guys. I did definitely do some stuff that I didn't describe step by step. I don't know if that's something that you guys would want to see more of in the future, more detailed like how to do it. But I just kind of wanted to show you the overall technique here and what it can kind of come out to be. I think the method is a great way to batch paint an army. And I feel like even if you're doing a competition piece, a lot of the steps and things I learned in this method can be applied to something like even grander. Again, I do learn stuff every time I paint a miniature and do something like this. So I really enjoy these kind of trial and error processes. Let me know down below if you guys enjoyed this video and if you got some value out of it. If you learned something, let me know. If there's some other technique that I don't know of or you know of, let me know that as well. I really appreciate you guys and all the support. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you did like the video. And until next time, peace out.